Hello, third graders. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. So let's go ahead. We're almost through with this week of DMA. And so let's take a look at our first problem, which is a subtraction problem, which means we're starting with a whole and we're subtracting part of that away from this whole right here. And we're going to find what the missing part is from that whole. So we're subtracting 398 away from 982. Now, if you think about rounding to the closest hundred based on this number right here, I can see that this number is really close to 400. So just by me looking at this as maybe 400, I can get an idea or an estimate about what this subtraction or what this answer is going to be, which is called my difference. Remember, sum is when you're adding, difference is when you are subtracting. So we're going to look for the difference here between 982 and 398, and that's going to be my missing part. Now, if I subtract 400 from 982, that's going to give me a close estimate of what my answer should be. So if I subtract 400 from this, think about what you would get when you subtract. Well, if you said 582, you'd be correct. So this is going to be very close to 582 when you subtract. Now, what you could also think about is if you subtract 400, you're over subtracting 400 by 2 more. So that means you could add in 582, add 2 more, and that would be 584. So let's see if that's what we come up with when we subtract 982 and 398 from each other. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at my ones place. I'm using my algorithm, so I'm going to start in the ones. 8 cannot be subtracted from 2, so that means I'm going to need to borrow a 10, and I'm going to take that 10 and add it to 2 to make this 12 now. So 12 minus 8, well, if you don't know what 12 minus 8 is, count up from 8 up to 12. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That would be a difference of 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. I can't subtract 90 from 70, so I need to borrow 100. That leaves me with 8. I'm going to regroup that 100 as 10 tens. So now I have 17 tens, which is 170, and 17 minus 9 going to give me 80. So 17 minus 9 is 80. 8 plus 9 is 17. I'm checking using addition. And 800 minus 300 is, right, you got it, 584. So just by me over subtracting 400 and then adding 2 back in, I also got 584 just by using that strategy that I just spoke about. Now, another way that I could think about this is I could start off with 900 minus 300. And so in this strategy, I do not have to start in my ones place because I can still borrow when I need to. So 900 minus 300 is 600. I'm subtracting 70 minus 90. And of course, I can't do that. So again, I have to borrow 100, and I'm going to regroup it here as 170, just like I did here, except now I'm borrowing it from here instead of over here. But I still get 500, right? So 170 minus 90 is 80. Now, if I subtract this 2 minus 8, 2 minus 8. Again, I still cannot subtract this 8 from 2. So again, I'm going to borrow 110, which leaves me with 70, and I'm going to add it to my ones place, which is now 12. and 12 minus 8 is 4. Now I take my 500, my 70, and my 4, and I put them back to, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. What happened? Did I subtract wrong? Let's see. What did I do incorrectly here? So I may not be paying attention. Oh, my apologies. This should have been 80, right? Yep, should have been 80 because this is 80 minus 90. Oh, so I figured out my mistake. See, it's always good to have a second way of looking at something when, guess what? Something may not come out right. So that would have left me with 90, and I borrowed 110, making it 80. And so now I put this all back together, which is going to be 500, 80, and 4. So here's my hundreds, my tens, and my ones put back together. Now, to make sure that I did my calculations correctly, I can use addition. So I'm going to take the part that I found, which is 584. I'm going to take the part that I subtracted and see if it adds back up to 982. So 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry my 10. 90 plus 80 is 17, which is 170, plus one more 10 is 18, which is 180. I'm going to regroup that 100 here. And that 500 plus 300 is 800, plus one more 100 is 900. 982, yep, that's what I have here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. Says Michelle and Madison are painting an area that is 12 feet by 8 feet. How many square feet did Michelle and Madison have to paint? So we're looking for the area. So I'm going to pull in my grid paper just to give you an idea of what this looks like, right? It's 12 feet by 8 feet. So I'm looking at an area of 12 by 8. Oh, that's very difficult to see. Let me see if I can pick a different color that makes it easier to see. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I have 8 by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Might have to zoom out, maybe. No, I think I can fit it. All right, now I'm going to close this figure up. And remember, when you're looking for the area, it's how many square feet, in this case, are inside this space right here. Okay, how many square feet are inside? So if I have 8 rows, and there are 12 squares in each row, I know what 10 times 12 is, right? Or excuse me, I know what 8 times 10 is, right? 8 times 10 is 80. And 8 times 2 is 16. And when I put that together, 80 plus 16 is going to be 96 square feet. Okay? So, Madison and Michelle are going to be painting 96 square feet of an area, and it doesn't say of a wall, but I would assume maybe it's a wall, or maybe it's the floor. Who knows, I guess. All right, now, this is what your discussion problem is today. Now that we have found the area, I want you guys to find the perimeter of this area that they're painting. So I want you to find the perimeter of this area. Find the perimeter. Remember, perimeter is adding the sides of that figure, okay? Perimeter. So today, we want you to find the perimeter. That is your discussion question for today. The perimeter of this area, okay? kind of goes with what we're doing this week. Very nicely. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our next set of problems. We have a missing factor here. So my missing factor is our groups. So how many groups of 7 does it take for me to make 7 total? Well, of course, it just takes one group of 7, right? So if I have one group of 7, one group of 7 is 7. Now, if I look at my next factor, I'm missing how many objects are in each group. So how many objects are in each group? Well, if I take my 20 total objects and I divide them into 4 equal groups, I know that I have 5 in each group. Or if I know my multiplication facts really well, 4 groups of 5 will give me a total of 20. How do I know? Because I can use repeated addition. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 5 is 20. So 4 groups of 5 makes my total of 20. And now I'm looking for my divisor. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. My mistake. Your quotient. As I was writing this, I realized I did not have the term correctly. So we're missing our quotient. I have 4 groups. I'm going to take these apart into equal groups. That's what division is. We take the total and put them into equal groups to find out how many's in each group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and finally 16. So how many objects were in each group? Right, there's 4. And remember, when you are looking for a missing factor, that is the opposite of division, and that is going to be what the missing factor is here. We know our groups, we know our total. This is going to be the number in each group right there. So that's quotient is the missing factor. Now we have a table, and it's again dividing by 3, and they are not in any specific order. So remember, this is an input-output table. Input, output, input, output. So 21 divided by 3, if you know your multiplication facts really well, that's going to be 7, because 7 times 3 is 21. Divide by 3. 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6, because 6 times 3 is 18. 24 divided by 3 is going to be 8, because 8 times 3 is 24. And finally, 12 divided by 3 is going to be 4, and because 4 times 3 is 12. All right, don't forget to go back and find the perimeter of this area, of this rectangle that we created for Madison's and Michelle's painting. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day and have a great Wednesday.